Hello, my name is Winthrop Data, and I'm the inventor of the VXI suspension system that you see before you now. Now it's called the VXI because the arms of the suspension form a V, or alternatively an X shape, and it's fully independent. So let's real quick go over some of the features and benefits that make the VXI, in my opinion, completely revolutionary. Number one, we have full control of camber change as never before, in that the VXI offers 0 degrees camber at neutral compression, highly negative camber in full compression, and highly positive camber in full droop. And what that does, essentially, is offer the ability to completely eliminate the effective body roll on camber change. And you can see here as we go into this corner that as we put a whole bunch of deflection into the chassis, the optimal camber on the front suspension versus the highly unoptimal camber of the rear double wishbone suspension. Here's a comparison for you. Also, the VXI eliminates track width change, or wheel scrub. The wheels do not scrub in or out as the suspension goes through its deflection. And that's never been possible before with an independent suspension, or really any suspension, because the wheels are not moving on an arc of motion. They're traveling straight up and down on the VXI. The track width never changes, the wheelbase never changes, and that leads to all kinds of good side benefits we'll get into later. But you can see here that this double wishbone suspension, when you're in full droop, is quite a bit scrubbed in, or the track width is quite a bit narrower than it is once you scrub out to here, and then also it begins to scrub back in again as you go into full compression. Comparatively, or in contrast with that, you notice that the VXI suspension, even though we're set up for camber change here, the track width is completely fixed. Also, because we eliminate the arc of motion of the wheels as they go through their articulation, we're able to eliminate bump steer. In other words, because the tie rod of the VXI suspension never goes out of phase with the wheel carriage, which is in green here, we eliminate bump steer, and that's never been before possible. And also, significantly, the VXI offers fully optimized both roll center and instant center. In other words, because the pivot points of the suspension are way up high here and way out wide, we offer both a roll center that's very high, meaning that it's easy to get your center of gravity of the overall vehicle lower than that of your roll center, which leads to a very stable vehicle. As well as the instant center is off to infinity, so that's fully optimized, meaning that you're going to get less weight transfer and less body roll as the car and the chassis go into a corner. Now, let's real quick go over the parts that make up the VXI. In green here on the bottom is the part that I call the wheel carriage, and it's really one of the core components and has never been seen before on any suspension design. And as you can see, almost everything on the suspension attaches to the wheel carriage, including the red lateral arms, and those are the arms that give your suspension the lateral placement and fight the lateral forces. The blue longitudinal arm, which is the part of the arms in the suspension that give you your longitudinal placement. Also, we have what I call the camber link, which is this link here that attaches to the blue longitudinal arm and pushes what I call the variable angle knuckle, which is just like a regular knuckle, but it varies in angle. It pushes it either into, positive camber or negative camber, depending on whether you're in compression or droop. Also, we have a steering tower, which includes a slip yoke, just a square section brass tubing in this case, a slip yoke input that allows the steering input to happen at all phases of the compression or decompression, but significantly, because the tie rod, which is down here, and the wheel carriage never go out of phase with one another, the phenomenon of bump steer is completely eliminated with the VXI. Now, the next generation prototype of the VXI is going to offer what I call the active camber link. It's going to move the camber link up and down on the wheel carriage and do what I'm doing manually here, do that on sort of an active basis. And what I'm going to do now is on the left side of the suspension here, I'm going to drop the camber link such that its pivot point on this end is in line with the wheel carriage, as opposed to being higher up on the blue longitudinal arms as we have on the right side. So what we've done now is I've set the camber link up such that there's absolutely zero camber change. And you can see here that on this left side, as we go into full compression and we drop down into full droop, the camber change is eliminated. And that would be desirable, of course, in situations where you're not cornering and you'd want to maintain zero camber change, like bump and jounce and dive and squat. So that you brake, you get nosedive, camber change is eliminated. You accelerate, you get rear suspension squat, camber change is eliminated. You hit a bump on the road, the suspension just goes up and down over the bump with zero camber change. Alternatively, on the other side, as you've seen, by moving the camber link up the blue longitudinal arm, we can take the body roll inherent in cornering situations and dial it right out and maintain optimal camber at all times. So, by virtue of all these things, these features and benefits, we're going to be able to achieve really a luxury car ride in combination with sports car handling. You'll see also that one of the features of the VXI is that it gets extreme amounts of wheel travel. On this side, we get about 3 inches. With the VXI, we get about 4.5 inches of travel, which is a 50% increase over the double wishbone stock suspension. And also, packages very compactly for as much travel as we're getting, because the suspension arms kind of fold into each other. We have a very compact overall package. By the way, 4.5 inches of travel on this 1/8 scale chassis would translate to roughly 36 inches of real-world travel, and that would be enough travel for virtually the most extreme off-roaders you could build. So, features and benefits of the VXI. The benefits include greatly reduced tire wear by virtue of eliminating the tire scrub, by optimizing camber at all times. I think we can increase tire wear or improve tire wear on the order of 25 to 35%, because we're going to be able to wear the tires more evenly in the middle as opposed to on the edges, and we're not going to scrub in and out, so that all that friction is gone. I also believe that the VXI can achieve something on the order of a 5% increase in fuel economy by virtue of reducing the rolling resistance of the tires. By maintaining optimal camber at all times, we optimize rolling resistance, meaning greater efficiency. Furthermore, because we're eliminating the tire scrub and the track change, the tires are essentially moving in a straighter line, also therefore leading to increased fuel efficiency. Weight transfer is going to be greatly reduced in corners, and combining that with the extra travel of the suspension and the optimized camber, we're going to offer greatly increased tire traction or grip in virtually all situations, including cornering, braking, accelerating, and of course, thanks to the fact that we're getting the very wide mounted pivot points, the stability of the vehicle is going to increase a great deal, and we're going to offer far less weight transfer as the car goes into a corner. So that's the VXI suspension. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll be bringing out another video shortly in a few months' time here, when I complete the 3rd generation prototype. And that'll be the prototype that really, I think, does it all and combines the performance that we see here with the camber link and make it active such that we have optimal camber at all times. Thank you.